everybody, it's Brock and we got a brand new episode of All About. Today, we don't have a fish nor a coral, it's actually a starfish. This is the Red Serpent Sea Starfish. These have some blinding red colorations, and when those legs come out from the rocks when you feed your fish, it looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. It is awesome. They were a rare find back when I worked at the fish store, and they still seem to be very hard to find just looking around online. Most places had them in stock if they were available. You would end up having to pay over $100 to get one. Tank size isn't too specific, but keep in mind these guys can get a foot long from tentacle to tentacle. So you won't want to put one in a small 30 gallon. I'd recommend at least a 55 or larger. That gives them plenty of room to grow, plenty of room to walk around in the tank. Care level on these stars, I would say moderate. They're actually a very hardy starfish, but there are some key things you have to get right when adding them into your tank. The first thing is they cannot be exposed to air. They also need a very slow acclimation. A drip tube is the best solution for acclimating them slowly and evenly to your parameters of your own tank. Once you get past those two hurdles, life is pretty easy. They're very hungry starfish, so you should not have many issues with them eating. Temper is peaceful. This is not a starfish that's going to chase your fish or disturb your inverts like a green bristle star would. You know, those will chase fish in the night. It's not going to be like that. They stick to their own in the tank, and you honestly hardly ever see them until it's feeding time or if you catch them in the night. Reef compatible is a definite yes. They'll help keep the sand bed free of leftover foods. From what I've seen, this is not a starfish that's going to be eating a ton of detritus and hair algae. I would look more for like a Linkia if you're looking for that kind of maintenance, but for catching food and keeping it off the sand bed, they are great for it. And of course, they won't mess with your corals. The worst you might see is them just walking on top of one, making it close up. Temperature, you want to keep it 72 to 78. DKH 8 to 12, pH 8.1 to 8.4, and your salinity 1.023 to 1.025. Max size that they can get is up to a foot long with their tentacles stretched all the way out. Most of the time they are pretty much bundled up in between the rock crevices though. Colors, of course, is that beautiful bright red. Now for the diet, they are actually a carnivore. They're going to want some meaty food in their diet. We used to get raw frozen shrimp from the grocery store. We would thaw them out, and then during that week, we'd cut them up into little pieces and feed them a piece every couple of days, or depending on how hungry they seemed. You can usually get them so comfortable with you that they'll end up taking the food straight from your hand, so that is also really fun. If you end up with one that is a little stingy, try different kinds of meaty foods like clams on a half shell, mussels, silver sides. What you'll end up noticing is whenever you're feeding your fish, whether it's flakes, pellets, mysis brine shrimp, anything like that, you'll see them start to come out for that too. You want to make sure that center disc is always staying fat. That'll let you know they're staying healthy and full. If it starts to shrink or look deflated, that's when you need to start worrying. Origins is multiple places, but usually the Great Barrier Reef, the Philippines, and other surrounding islands over there. Compatibility is really important with starfish. Fish-wise, they'll really go with any other peaceful reef fish like clowns, gobies, tangs, and angelfish. I would not put them with predatory fish like puffers and triggers, larger wrasse even, and groupers, because they're going to see those tentacles as snacks, and it's just going to cause too much stress to the starfish and cause them to go into hiding. You also want to be careful with what inverts you place them with. Ones like the coral banded shrimp, arrow crabs, and even harlequin shrimps will not be good tank mates, as they will constantly pull off the arms to eat, and it'll just end up again stressing them out, causing them to go into hiding, and end up at worst causing them to perish. I also always like to tell this story because I'd hate it for it to happen to you too. It does not fully go with these starfish, as they're not one that's going to have those suction on their arms and be traveling along the glass, but there was one time I had this beautiful blue Linkia starfish in my reef tank, and I did not check to see where he was before doing a water change, and I had taken the water down about 4 to 5 inches from the top, and after I was finished siphoning the water, guess who I saw at the very top of the glass out in the open air? So always check to see where they are, because you don't want to make that same mistake. Another thing, I feel like I don't even have to tell y'all this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Don't frag your starfish. I see it online of people trying it. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work. Yes, if a tentacle comes off, they're usually able to regrow it over the next few months, but you're not going to get in there and cut them in half and expect two to grow from it. So please just take that out of your mind if you're thinking about doing that. After that, you should have a pretty good idea if you can have one of these in your tank, or if it's one you might want to add later on. Thank you all for coming by to watch. We just recently passed 300 all about videos in the series and hit 15,000 subscribers, so I can't thank y'all enough for your support. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend.